Nasdaq production.
All right, we're looking at the S&P and the Nasdaq, right? So very interesting how we have this interesting setup in the past few weeks. Look how we balanced out in this zone, and it looks like we're starting to leave up out of this area now. So this is the S&P 500. We've been fiddling downward all year. Again, this major trend line holding us back. In my opinion, once we eventually break up above it, that will be the signal, right? Once we get this break at some point, who knows when it'll be, right? With big volume, that's going to be the signal that the bear market's over, right? So there is a lot of recession talk going on right now. There's bad news galore, right? But again, markets tend to, like, as soon as everyone's like all on one thing, it does the opposite, right? And it does look interesting right now. We've had this huge pullback throughout like all year. It's not necessarily huge, but think of it, we're down around 27%. Is there potentially more to go? Yes, but it's shaping up to look like right now we're having this sort of bullish price action to end off October, right? We're breaking up out of this zone. We want to see if we're going to stall and get some fight around this area. We're talking from the bull's perspective, right? If we come up into this area and it's actually a supply zone and it's too heavy, right? We can't break up over it. We're going to continue downward to end the year potentially. But things do look bullish in my opinion. We have no bullish divergence that I could see. Let's look at the weekly time frame to see what we look like. Right? It definitely looks like we've tried to bottom out here a little bit. There's a lot more bullish divergence on the weekly time frame, which could lead us to continue higher. All right, so RSI is increasing, making higher lows, but the market's making lower lows. So maybe the RSI is indicating to us through this bullish divergence that there's going to be an increase in price coming in the next few weeks. And maybe we're going to try to see, right, is this resistance or is this trend line really going to be strong and fight us back for the once, twice, third, the fourth time, right? So S&P 500 looks very interesting. So when we look at the Nasdaq, we had this channel that we were fighting in, again, similar to the Apple stock that I was chatting about in the last breakdown, but right, looks very similar. This downward channel, we have this breakout. Are we going to get that push? We will see, right? Because this would eventually lead a lot of stocks to want to get that push as well. So did the markets open? Yeah, they just opened. It's the daily time frame, and this is the newest tick. Yeah, and we're already starting green, which is interesting. We're already up 1%, and we just opened like 10 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago. So we will see what happens. We have a long week, but it's looking interesting, and maybe we're going to get this Santa Claus rally that could potentially happen. Don't want to end off on a negative note, but keep in mind, right, this area right here. If we find a way to make our way up into this trend line, and for the fourth time we get rejected, right? Same thing with S&P. Say something like this happens, right? Or somewhere along this line we get rejected eventually. It could potentially lead us for a significant drawdown. That would look something like the 2008 version, right? Like if we go back to 2008 real quick, I should have it marked out still. I don't know how many touches it was. It was 1, 2, 3 touches and then the flush. Maybe we get the fourth, but it looks sort of similar, right? Where you have this period of time. Maybe we get this one last push into the end of the year and then the dump, right, in January. Who knows? But we're never going to know until the bottom's officially in. So if you want to take that risk now, the setups are there in the market, which is interesting. It is a different time, right? So we can't really rely on that 2008 version of the chart and be like, oh, we're expecting it to be exactly like this, because likelihood it's not going to happen. But yeah, that's the breakdown. Check out the other couple videos I'm posting tonight, because they kind of correlate to my thoughts on like the overall market and some stocks that I think are interesting. So peace.